Commander Zixdata's mandibles clicked nervously as she reviewed the medical scans for the 5th time. The holographic display showed the internal structure of their newest crew member, a human named Marcus Rodriguez, and nothing about it made sense. Computer, run diagnostic on scanning equipment, she ordered. All systems functioning within normal parameters, the AI responded. Then explain this, Zixdata gestured at the display with her primary arm. The creature's primary processing organ is encased in bone, sitting atop a ridiculously narrow support structure. One impact and it should snap like a twig. Her medical officer, Dr. Vexnil, floated closer, his gelatinous form rippling with confusion. Commander, it gets worse. The human's entire design violates basic engineering principles. Look at these knees, they bend backwards. And the spine, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Speaking of disasters, Zixdata pulled up another scan, explained how this species survives with such a primitive cooling system. They leak salt water when overheated? That's a waste of essential minerals. The door chimed and Marcus himself walked in, cheerfully oblivious to their horror. Hey, Doc. Ready for my physical? Both aliens froze. The human was drinking something dark and steaming. Is that heated plant toxin? Vexnil whispered. Coffee? Yeah. Want some? Marcus offered, taking another sip of what the alien's sensors clearly identified as a mild poison. Oh, and I brought the injury report from last week. Turns out it was just a sprained ankle. Walked it off after a few days. After Marcus left, Zixdata stared at the report. Walked it off? The joint was twisted 40 degrees out of alignment. Commander Vexnil's form had turned a pale shade of purple, his species equivalent of shock. I've been researching human medical literature. Did you know they voluntarily pierce their flesh for decoration? And some of them enjoy consuming foods that cause them active pain. Schedule a meeting with the Galactic Council, Zixdata decided. These humans need warning labels. The Velkorian hunting party had been tracking their prey for 3 days across the frozen wastes of Zirion 7. Elite hunters all, they were confident in their superior evolution. Thick fur, powerful legs built for sprinting, and metabolisms that could survive on 1 meal per week. Then the human showed up. Apologies for the interruption, Lieutenant Jake Thompson said, jogging up to their camp wearing nothing but thin fabric coverings. I'm with the Earth Exploration Corps. Saw your heat signatures and thought I'd check in. Everything okay? Hunt leader Corvash bared his fangs, a gesture that usually sent other species running. The human merely nodded politely. We are hunting, Corvash growled. Leave or become prey yourself. Jake glanced at their tracking equipment. Oh, you're after a Zirion ice bear? Those are about 40 kilometers north. But at your current pace, you'll never catch up before the storm hits. Impossible, Corvash's second-in-command, Tarven, snarled. We are apex predators. We have been tracking for it. 3 days, right? Jake interrupted. Yeah, I passed your old campsites. Look, I'm heading that direction anyway. Want to tag along? The insult was too much. Corvash lunged, his powerful legs propelling him at incredible speed. Jake sidestepped, not even breathing hard. Whoa there. Save your energy. It's a long run. Run? Tarven laughed. Velkorians are the fastest species in the galaxy. We can reach speeds of 60 kilometers per hour. For about 30 seconds, yeah, Jake nodded. Impressive. But this is about endurance, not speed. Race you there? Loser buys drinks. What followed would become legend. The hunting party sprinted ahead, leaving the human far behind. They laughed at his slow, steady pace. They stopped laughing when he jogged past their first rest stop. And their second. By the time they reached the ice bear's territory, exhausted, panting, and demoralized, Jake had already been there for 2 hours. He'd set up camp and was cooking something that smelled disturbingly good. How? Corvash gasped, collapsing. Jake shrugged. Humans are persistence hunters. We can't sprint like you, but we can run at moderate speeds for hours. Days even. Our ancestors used to hunt by just following animals until they collapsed from exhaustion. That's horrifying, Tarven whispered. Your target's incoming, Jake pointed to the approaching ice bear. Want me to handle it? No. Corvash stood on shaking legs. Velkorians are hunters. After they took down the bear, Jake mentioned nearest outpost is 60 kilometers south. See you there. As the human jogged away, Tarven turned to his leader. We're buying him many drinks, aren't we? All the drinks, Corvash agreed. And posting warnings, humans do not challenge to endurance competitions. The sterile Concordat had achieved what no other civilization had managed in 10,000 years of recorded history: complete biological purity. Their homeworld, Pristinia, was a marvel of medical technology where disease had been eradicated, aging reversed, and death itself held at bay. Then Ambassador Patricia Williams sneezed during first contact. Containment breach. Admiral Zeph of the Concordat's biodefense fleet screamed, alarms blaring across every ship. Hostile biological agents detected. Patricia, still holding her hand over her mouth, looked confused. Sorry, excuse me. Bit of dust in the air. You were saying about the trade agreements? Through the hermetically sealed communication screen, Zeph's 6 eyes widened in horror. You just released approximately 10 million microorganisms into the environment. Our scanners are going haywire. What biological weapons are you carrying? Biological weapons? Patricia laughed. Oh, you mean my microbiome? That's just normal. Humans carry about 38 trillion bacteria. Give or take a few trillion. The bridge of the Concordat vessel fell silent. Finally, the chief medical officer spoke, his voice trembling. Trillion? With a T? Yeah, they help us digest food, produce vitamins, train our immune system. We die without them, actually. They're kind of like tiny friends. Friends. Zeph backed away from the screen. You cultivate hostile microorganisms? As friends? Patricia tried to explain. They're not hostile. Well, not usually. I mean, sure, if your immune system gets compromised, some of them can cause problems, but mostly they're... Your own symbiotic organisms can turn against you? The medical officer had fainted. Several others looked close to joining him. Is this about the sneeze? Patricia asked. Because I can wear a mask if it makes you more comfortable. Though fun fact, we actually exchange about 80 million bacteria during a 10-second kiss. It's kind of romantic when you think about it. Sharing your microscopic ecosystem with someone new. The transmission cut off. Patricia found herself staring at empty space where the Concordat fleet had been moments before. They jumped to hyperspace. 3 days later, the Concordat submitted a formal request to the Galactic Council to classify humans as biological weapons of mass destruction. Do not approach. Patricia's follow-up message, explaining that human infants were born nearly sterile and had to acquire their microbiome from their environment and caregivers, resulted in the Concordat representative physically fleeing the council chambers. The Human Diplomatic Corps added a new section to their first contact protocols: do not discuss microbiomes, immune systems, or any aspect of human symbiotic relationships with germophobic species. Within a month, conspiracy theories spread across the galaxy, 38 trillion to 1. Those are the odds when you meet a human. The bacteria outnumber the human cells. Who's really in charge? Chief Engineer Kralix of the Mechanist Collective had seen many biological species in his centuries of life. Each had their design flaws, inefficiencies that his people had long since eliminated through cybernetic enhancement. But nothing had prepared him for the systems check on the human crew member. This can't be right, Kralix muttered, his optical sensors refocusing on the datapad. Officer Martinez, your medical scan shows massive organ redundancy. Why do you have 2 kidneys? Maria Martinez shrugged. Backup system, I guess? If one fails, the other takes over. Acceptable, Kralix nodded, making notes. Though inefficient. But explain the appendix. It serves no function. Vestigial organ. Used to help digest cellulose, probably. Sometimes it gets infected and we have to remove it. Kralix's mechanical hand paused mid-note. You carry organs that can randomly try to kill you? Well, when you put it like that. Maria laughed. Oh, and don't get me started on wisdom teeth. Those are teeth that grow in wrong and have to be pulled out. Your body grows incorrect parts? Sometimes. But here's the cool part, we can lose a surprising amount and keep going. Lose a kidney? Fine. Gallbladder? Don't need it. Spleen? Helpful but not essential. Hell, people have survived with half their brain removed. Kralix's systems registered what organics might call horror. Half, your processing center? Yeah. The other half sometimes rewires itself to compensate. Neuroplasticity is wild. Oh, and did you know the liver can regenerate? You can cut out 70% of it and it grows back. That's impossible. Complex organs don't. Maria interrupted by pulling up her sleeve, revealing a scar. See this? Donated part of my liver to my sister 5 years ago. Grew back in 2 months. Hers grew to full size too. Kralix ran a diagnostic on himself, a nervous habit. What about your structural system? Surely your bones? Self-repairing calcium deposits that are constantly breaking down and rebuilding? Yeah, those are pretty cool too. Break a bone and it grows back stronger at the break point. The Mechanist Collective can replace any component in minutes. Sure, but can your components heal themselves? Adapt to new stresses? Grow stronger from damage? Maria flexed her arm. Every time I exercise, I'm literally tearing my muscle fibers. They grow back bigger and stronger. I'm not even made of the same atoms I was 7 years ago. You're a ship of Theseus? Exactly. Except biological and self-maintaining. Oh, and we can train our bodies to be immune to poisons by taking small doses over time. Kralix stood abruptly. I need to report to the collective. You're already self-repairing, self-upgrading, redundant biological machines. That's terrifying. The Mechanist Collective's marketing department later received a memo: cancel all human-targeted campaigns. They're already cyborgs. Flesh cyborgs. Do not compete. The Psion Order had dedicated millennia to mastering the mind. They could read thoughts like open books, implant suggestions with surgical precision, and bend lesser beings to their will with a whisper. Their embassy on Station Prime was a testament to their power. Other species walked by with heads bowed, thoughts carefully controlled. Then Staff Sergeant David Park walked in for his diplomatic credential review. Master Psion Velex extended her consciousness toward the human's mind, expecting the usual surface thoughts about lunch or duty rosters. Instead, she hit something unexpected. Musical note: never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you. Musical note. She recoiled. What is that? David looked up from his paperwork. What's what? That repetitive auditory pattern in your consciousness. Oh. David grinned. Got rickrolled last night. Song's been stuck in my head all morning. Super annoying, right? Velex tried again, pushing deeper. The song got louder. Attempting to bypass it, she found herself in a maze of random thoughts. A shopping list, concern about a leaking faucet, the plot of a movie mixed with 3 different video games, and underneath it all, that relentless song. Your mind is chaotic, she said, a headache building behind her 4 eyes. Yeah, ADHD will do that. Thoughts bounce around like ping-pong balls up here. David tapped his temple. Oh man, now I'm thinking about ping-pong. Did you know the official name is table tennis? Wild, right? Velex tried her most powerful technique, direct mental domination. She pushed a single command into his mind. Stand. David shifted in his chair, scratched his nose, and continued filling out forms. Why aren't you standing? She demanded. Why would I stand? I'm not done with the paperwork. He paused. Actually, I do kind of want to stand. My legs falling asleep. But if I stand now, I'll probably wander off and forget to finish these forms. I commanded you to stand. David looked at her with genuine concern. You okay? You're looking a bit pale. Do psions get migraines? Because you look like you have a migraine. Velex did have a migraine. The human's mind had somehow given her a psychic headache. Worse, the song was now stuck in her head. How are you doing this? She whispered. Doing what? Oh, the song thing? Sorry, it's super contagious. Like a mental virus. Want me to try thinking of a different song? Though that usually just makes both songs play at once. No. Velex shouted. Several passing diplomats winced. Within hours, the Psion Order issued an unprecedented decree: human minds were off limits. They were classified as cognitive hazards, approach at own risk. A week later, the Psions were still trying to get the song out of their collective consciousness. The Alchemy Guild had spent eons perfecting the art of chemical manipulation. They could craft potions to grant any desire, synthesize compounds to alter reality itself, and held the secrets to immortality in their carefully guarded vaults. Their Grand Master, Zex the Eternal, had lived for 6,000 years on carefully balanced chemical cocktails. Then he met Dr. Jennifer Roberts at a xenobiology conference. Fascinating presentation on biochemical enhancement, Jennifer said, approaching him during the break. Though I noticed you didn't mention anything about adrenaline analogs. Zex's 13 eyes narrowed. Adrenaline. Epinephrine if you prefer the technical term. Humans produce it naturally during stress or danger. Increases heart rate, dilates air passages, floods muscles with glucose. Basically turns us into temporary super soldiers. You produce combat enhancement chemicals, naturally? Oh, that's just the start. Jennifer pulled up her presentation. We've got dopamine for pleasure and motivation, serotonin for mood regulation, oxytocin for bonding, endorphins that are literally natural painkillers stronger than morphine. Stronger than morphine? Zex nearly dropped his immortality elixir. Yeah, runner's high is wild. Push your body hard enough and it starts producing its own drugs. Oh, and get this, we have DMT in our brains. Actual hallucinogens. Just hanging out in there. Zex sat down heavily. Your species is naturally intoxicated? Not exactly. It's all about balance and triggers. But wait, there's more. Humans can get addicted to their own brain chemicals. Adrenaline junkies, for instance. They chase dangerous situations just to trigger their own chemical rewards. That's insane. Is it though? Jennifer leaned in conspiratorially. Your immortality elixir, I bet it's trying to replicate what human bodies do naturally. Cell repair, telomerase production, oxidative stress management. We age, sure, but our bodies fight it every step of the way. Zex pulled out a scanner, running it over Jennifer. The readings made no sense. Your body is producing over 50 different psychoactive compounds right now. How are you even conscious? Practice? Jennifer shrugged. Though you should see what happens when we're teenagers. Hormones flooding everything, brain chemistry going haywire. We just ride it out. You give control of your bodies to unstable chemical processes? Bold of you to assume we ever had control. Did you know chocolate triggers the same brain receptors as cannabis? Or that spicy food makes us release endorphins? We basically drug ourselves for fun. Zex stood abruptly. I need to reevaluate everything. 6,000 years of alchemical study and you're telling me humans are just walking chemical factories. Pretty much. Oh, before you go, Jennifer handed him a bottle. Caffeine pills. Mild stimulant for us. Maybe start with a quarter of one. That night, the Alchemy Guild voted unanimously. Humans were living chemical weapons, do not attempt synthesis. Zex later tried an eighth of a caffeine pill. He didn't sleep for 3 days. The Council of Eternal Beings had existed since the first stars ignited. They had witnessed the birth and death of countless civilizations, guided the evolution of entire galaxies, and achieved what all species dreamed of, true immortality. Death was a stranger to them, a concept as foreign as non-existence itself, which is why Ambassador Rachel Thompson's presentation threw them into complete chaos. Thank you for having me, Rachel began, standing before beings older than her entire solar system. I understand you're interested in humanity's application for council membership. Indeed, resonated the eldest, a being of pure energy who had transcended physical form eons ago. Though we must inform you that membership requires a lifespan of at least 10,000 years. How long do humans live? Oh, about 70 to 80 years on average. 100 if we're lucky. The council chamber fell silent. Finally, the crystalline delegate sparked. Surely you mean centuries? Nope. Years. Though we're working on extending that. Medical science is doing amazing things these days. Your mayflies, whispered the Void Walker. How do you achieve anything in such brief spans? Rachel smiled. That's exactly why we achieve so much. See, when you only have a limited time, every moment matters. Every choice carries weight. We don't have millennia to debate decisions, we have to act. But the fear, the eldest said. How do you function knowing death approaches? Fear? I mean, sure, death's scary. But it's also what makes life precious. Every sunrise could be your last, so you'd better appreciate it. Every person you meet might not be there tomorrow, so you'd better tell them you love them today. The temporal sage materialized, its form shifting between past and future. We have observed species driven mad by mortality. They become paralyzed, unable to act, knowing all actions lead to the same end. Some humans struggle with that, Rachel admitted. But most of us? We find it motivating. We have the saying, memento mori. Remember you must die. It's not depressing, it's inspiring. It means make it count. Make what count? Several beings asked simultaneously. Everything. Love, art, discovery, friendship. We build things knowing we won't see them finished. Plant trees whose shade we'll never enjoy. Start scientific projects that won't conclude for generations. We create legacy. The quantum oracle flickered. You knowingly begin endeavors you cannot complete? All the time. The Voyager space probes? Launched in 1977, still sending data. The scientists who built them knew they'd die before the mission ended. Didn't stop them. Cathedral builders in our Middle Ages spent their whole lives on buildings they'd never see completed. Parents raise children they'll never see grow old. That's heartbreaking, the eldest murmured. Is it? Or is it beautiful? We love people knowing we'll lose them. We create art that will outlast us. We solve problems for future generations we'll never meet. The ancient Greek proverb, a society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. The council members exchanged incomprehensible looks. The Void Walker spoke first. You face oblivion with hope? More than that, Rachel's voice grew passionate. We face it with defiance. Death makes us urgent. It makes us brave. You want to know the most terrifying thing about humans? It's not our biology or our minds or our chemistry. It's that we know we're going to die and we do amazing things anyway. But you could have immortality, the eldest offered. We could share our knowledge. Would we still be human? Rachel interrupted. Our mortality shapes everything, our art, our love, our drive to explore and create and connect. Take that away and what's left? Would we still write poetry about fleeting moments if moments weren't fleeting? Would we still cherish each other if we had infinite time? The temporal sage shifted uncomfortably. You would choose death? We choose life, Rachel corrected. Finite, precious, irreplaceable life. Every human is a unique pattern that will exist exactly once in the universe's history. When we die, that pattern is gone forever. That's not a bug, it's a feature. The council deliberated for eons or seconds. Time was relative here. Finally, the eldest spoke. We cannot offer you membership. Not because you lack the lifespan, but because. The being paused, searching for words that hadn't been used in millennia. You scare us. You burn so brightly, so briefly. You face the void not with acceptance but with rebellion. You are mortality made manifest, and that is terrifying. Rachel nodded. I understand. But can I ask you something? When's the last time any of you created something new? Took a risk? Fell in love? The silence stretched. Exactly, Rachel said softly. You have all the time in the universe, so nothing is urgent. You'll never die, so nothing is precious. You've achieved immortality, but somewhere along the way you stopped living. As she left, the council of eternal beings sat in contemplation. For the first time in eons, they wondered if they had made the right choice. The human application was rejected, but a new file was created in their archives, humanity, too alive for immortality. Later, the eldest did something it hadn't done in a million years. It created something new, a poem about mortality. It was terrible, but it was a start. Epilogue, the warning label. The Galactic Database's entry for humans was updated following the compilation of these reports. Species, human, Homo sapiens. Origin, Earth, Sol system. Classification, extreme caution advised. Biological hazards. Self-repairing bodies that grow stronger from damage. Carrying 38 trillion bacterial allies. Natural production of combat drugs and hallucinogens. Voluntary decoration through self-mutilation. Consumption of poisons for pleasure. Psychological hazards. Minds that can trap telepaths in recursive loops. Contagious thought patterns, earworms. Intrusive thoughts about self-harm they ignore. Find humor in existential dread. Physical capabilities. Can run prey to death through endurance. Survive loss of multiple organs. Tolerate extreme climate variations. Throw objects with disturbing accuracy. Continue functioning while damaged. Sociological warnings. Face death with aggressive optimism. Create things they'll never see completed. Form emotional bonds despite inevitable loss. Microdose stimulants daily. Consider mortal danger fun. Diplomatic notice. Humans are friendly and eager to establish peaceful relations. This somehow makes them more terrifying. Final warning. They think this list makes them sound badass. Approach with caution, respect, and possibly offerings of coffee. Do not challenge to endurance competitions, drinking contests, or psychological warfare. Amendment, they've started printing this warning on t-shirts. We don't know how to respond to this. The scariest thing about humans isn't that they're fragile. It's that they know they're fragile and they simply don't care. Former Ambassador Zix Theta retired early.